Hello, everyone. Super happy to be here. I'm Jose. I work at Miro, and I'm going to talk to you guys today about Miro's Living Lab dynamic workplace systems. So yesterday, there were a few talks about connected to the future of work. My talk is going to go also around that angle and that big discussion that is happening right now, across the world. So, first of all, my name is Jose. I'm originally from the Dominican Republic, so I'm a really, really long way from home right now. You see me that still getting used to the cold, but I'm based in Amsterdam for many years now, and that's where I work with Miro. So what do I do at Miro? My role is to put in place the creative principles, the creative architectural principles on how we configure the offices and the setup of work. That is integrated into a workplace concept that needs to be scaled, that needs to respond to users' needs, and also needs to weave technology into creating a cohesive experience. But what is Miro? So some of you probably know it. So Miro is the online whiteboard for hybrid collaboration. And I scratched that because right now it's a digital tool, but right now we are exploring the new territory called hybrid, which no one really knows what that is. So about Miro, just a little bit. The company has not 25, about 45 million users right now. 45 million users. So that's a massive audience that we work with. And we are the company that actually facilitates hybrid working. So, and our motto is to facilitate everyone that's working, whether it's distributed in the same room or in any other way, with the right tools so they can create the next big thing. And that's how we like to play it. So just a little bit on the evolution of Miro. It was founded in 2011 in Perm, Russia. Then it was launched in 2016 as Miro for Enterprise. And 2017 already got 1 million users. The previous name was called Real-Time Board, and some of you might know from that time. But then in 2019, it was rebranded to Miro, and this is what you know today. So the playfulness, the integration, and all the features, this is what we see today, and that's happened in 2019. By 2021, we already had 25 million users, and that's when I joined the company. So it was simply a rocket ship. Today we have 45 million users, like I said, and we're still going strong. And right now exploring some new things that still delivering value to our users end to end, but we are also looking at what goes beyond the screen. And that's something that still needs to be answered. So with the whole discussion, and on the relationship with work, offices, remote working, working from home, do we go there? Do offices exist or not? It's a really confusing time. At the same time, it's super exciting because we can redefine those principles that we have known as work for a very, very long time. And that includes also changing the language. So right now we are talking about hybrid, and this is where we are. And in my view, this is a personal opinion, hybrid is a transitory term. We need to find out what the right language for what we do is. And that's something that it will be a collective effort. Miro's not going to solve it alone. I think it would be a collective effort of all the companies and all the users that are trying to figure out what's best for them when we break out from the ties from the past. So talking about hybrid, and it's a very tricky thing, is actually when you approach hybrid with our strategy, it's actually the worst of both worlds. because it's not a digital thing, and it's not a physical thing. It's somewhere in between, and that's a very, very interesting space to play right now. Hybrid is pretty complex. No, we don't have a shared agreement on what hybrid is, but what we know right now is that it's a split customer audience. It's something that happens on the digital side and on the physical side. We know that hybrid is pushed by your audience. So when we are not meeting in a room and some of the people are connected temporarily or not via remote, then we go into this gray space of awkwardness on how do we connect, how do we actually get our points across, how do we make sure that we build what we need to build. And the last point is that it's not virtual, it's not in person. It's somewhere in between. Hybrid is still complex. So right now, how we see it is that we used to work in buildings supported by tools, but right now, we work in tools supported by building. And that's a very interesting thing to think about. What is the role of space? What is the role of buildings in this discussion right now? I get this question asked all the time. So if Miro is a digital tool that facilitates distributed teams to create the next big thing, then why have physical locations, right? Like, does it make sense? So we actually do invest and have a point of view on having physical locations. And we actually have 11 locations around the world. So when you see the two stars, Amsterdam and Austin, which is being built right now, will be the two co-HQs. So Amsterdam being the hub for Europe, and Austin would be the main hub for the USA. Very close to here, we have one of our hubs, which is in Yerevan right now. And we use Miro as the common ground that connects everything. And that's something that I will show around here. So why offices? In the short version is because we want to have places for people to come together. What do you do there? Everything is about purpose. It's all about purpose, right? So we want areas where people can come together to build culture, to make sure that we have a shared ownership. And that is something that is embedded in the company. We want to use our hubs as testing grounds where we can try, learn, and iterate. Go with ideas, test them very quickly, and make sure that we can back up when we say, yes, we facilitate teams to create the next big thing, right? So it's a massive testing ground. And then a third point, which is very, very important, is a platform for engagement. And what do I mean by that is how do we connect to our customers, to our users? And customers, I mean it in two ways. I mean internal customers, which are our own employees, and external customers, which are our users, both enterprise and non-enterprise. And in a way, when we have all this, what do we want to achieve? And we brought these two opposing concepts together. And this is what we're trying to do when we put our offices. We want to create a productive playground. And when you think about that, in the pre-pandemic, you couldn't put these two together. Something that's production with play, no way. But yes, it is possible. And our tool sets the groundwork for that. And we want to take that in and make sure that we are also able to embed it into physical spaces. What is the challenge that Miro has right now? And also the companies, right? So for us, is how do we build a multi-generational company? Meaning that we are playing the long game, right? We need to make sure that we make the right decisions, the right experiments, learn along the way to make sure that we stay for a long time. At the same time, we need to make sure that we constantly evolve, right? But then how do you keep from losing your stamina? How do you keep from making the wrong investments? And then your money runs out, and then, game over, right? So we decided to put in place what we call a dynamic workplace system. And this is the current snapshot. Has already changed, but I'm going to explain to you why this works for us. So what we have is the employee experience at the center. And it has some key pillars and foundational principles. So we look at sustainability, especially circularity on the way that we use materials. One step back. If Miro is digital and it decides to show up in the world, we need to be very, very conscious on what we put in the world. So that means materials and that sustainability, our messaging from concept and brand, and also, very importantly, technology. What technology talks to our platform and what technology also enables our users to connect to us in the right way. Then, we have also the foundational principles in modularity. Making sure that we are able to scale, making sure that we are able to maneuver very quickly and learn, having flexibility and adaptability as key drivers. In the middle, what we have is on how we do things, right? So on how we iterate, learn and iterate, a constant cycle informed by feedback loops, and also the part of co-creation on how do we involve our own users into our process. So our first approach to that is called our Living Lab. And we took our own office in Amsterdam to actually make that happen. So what I'm going to walk you through is just a few of the let's say, images and plans of the process. And then I'm going to tell you of some of the things that we have learned so far. By the way, we have a fantastic building. It's a very, very old building. It's built from 1926. Used to house the Amsterdam tram office. So in the parking lot to the right, all the trams, there were about 3 or 4 maybe at that time, they were housed on the parking lot today. But the building is a listed building, so it's extremely challenging to work with it. And I forgot to say at the beginning, my background is from architecture and design, and I worked a lot in retail. So part of the components my skills, the skill set that I'm bringing in is also the design part, but also the experience part. So working with this great canvas, we started to investigate what we could do to actually put Miro into the world. But we were not, we underestimated the challenges of working in a monument, right? So a municipality, you need to, the historical community, and so on. But still, it's fantastic, and we decided to go with it, and then work with a strong architectural layer, and then add a Miro layer on top, making sure the two things do not merge, but then have a respecting dialogue. That's our goal. So you are able to tell two things apart. These, here on the right, on the bottom, these are our 4 company values: collaboration, empathy, impact, and iteration. And we weave this into some of the design drivers as a process, just to understand. It's in a sort of matrix. How can we actually blend our values with some of these drivers and then make them appear in the architectural world? Before that, we had to set up some basic principles. Number 1, making sure that we work with circular systems. And the reason for that is because if we are able to iterate, learn from the experiments, we should be able to actually maneuver and change very quickly. The biggest challenge we had when we came into that building is that Miro had grown dramatically from 2021 on, 2019 to 2021, and then, but we had no data, 0, on how people work together. So, because everybody was distributed until we decided to come together. So, there was no understanding of how the engineering teams work with the legal teams, the product marketing works with the rest of the other teams. There was 0 data. So there's a big danger there, because the moment, pre-pandemic, how we do a project is like, we make sure, select a site, get some, an overall budget, and then just go with it. Fit it out and hope for the best. Right now, we don't have that luxury. If we invest, 3-4 million, whatever the cost is, and then your teams, since you have no data, you don't know how they work together, go in 2 weeks later and they say, well guys, that doesn't work. We're going home. So what do we do? There's a massive risk there, because you need to start from zero, get 4 million again, everything goes to the landfill, and again, we restart. Circular systems are important because everything we do there works on a subscription model. So for many of our physical components, we subscribe to them like Netflix. So that means that we are able to change quarterly at around 60% of our entire office at zero to very low cost. And that's a massive impact on how we do things. And this is something that we share, like I'm sharing with you, with the rest of our users and also the rest of our clients. Then we are able to do that with furniture. We're going to do that with also all the hardware that we use. So when we say change, we are able to take entire rooms, entire wings of the building, and rearrange them in the way that works, and we keep ourselves relevant all the time. We're conscious also about the materials that we put in. If we are digital, the moment we show up in the world needs to be in the most conscious manner. So we work with very materials made out of mushrooms for the floor, acoustical panels that do not, let's say, harm the environment from the fibers, and many other things. We also use, as part of well-being, a scalable biophilic approach. So we made, with an agency in Amsterdam, the green guidelines for Miro. So that means that we have a catalog of green solutions that we can scale to our 11 offices around the world. And then the last but not the least is how do we keep Miro at the center? Making sure that we are able to integrate as much as we can the experience with the digital tool. So the building, how we started to work with is also that we just couldn't take the whole building. We didn't have the time, but also we didn't have the resources to actually redo everything. So we work like acupuncture. So we make sure that we identify a few locations that we wanted to intervene, and then that would activate the rest of the building. And these are the dots that you see there. And the configuration, the building is symmetrical. So how we split it out is also in a way that we want to make sure that we are able to receive our external customers, but also to make sure that the office works well. So we split it in the right side is where we connect internally. So with a cafe area on the side, on this side, going from the center, which is welcome area, but also an area that can be multifunctional. You can all do many different things. And then on the left side is how we connect externally. How do we receive customers and we take them to our customer engagement programs. This is a snapshot of how the reception looks like. And it's not a reception, we call it welcome area, because our plan is to make sure that whenever you step into the office, you feel collaboration is in the air. That's where we stand for. So everything here is movable, and it allows for people to collaborate in the reception area. So people are working on across the table, and they are able to use, let's say, a video wall that we have. This is how it looks like. And actually do a broadcast from here for an all hands. We don't have a single space in the building that we can put more than 30, 40 people. So when we have an all hands and we need to work with 300 people at the same time, we make sure that we spread it out and broadcast it around the building. And the building is equipped with interactive screens in specific places that's able to make that happen. This is the co-working area, and this is an area where we connect internally. So we have a cafe. We make sure that people are able to work there informally for short periods of time, making sure that yeah, it's how you would do in a WeWork, that type of thing. So we want to make sure that we have that bus within our building, and then people stay here for short periods of time and then go do whatever they have to do, whether it's meetings or anything else. So these are some snapshots, so I'll pass very quickly. Another part of this intervention is the Miro Discovery Center. This is an engagement center, or how we talk to our customers. So whether Starbucks or Apple and any one of big, medium to small clients come and they want to feel Miro, they want to touch Miro, this is where we receive them. And we took a very interesting approach, and these are the first sketches, and we took a kind of a little bit like this, like a show, no? So the briefing manager sits there, covered with a curtain, and where he introduces exactly what the engagement is going to be about and how people are going to be taken throughout the day. Then they make a reveal, and then the room expands. And then you have 3 sets of areas where you can collaborate, you can explain what they're going to do in the day. So then we had to make an iteration. We saw that some things were not working, and we expanded it like this. And right now we have a lot of integrations in the tool, but we are taking a very, very simple approach on how we do things and how we work with furniture and the rest of the things. What you see on the right are just a simple set of modular tables that are nested. And these create like sort of a conference table type of thing. And what that works is in this way. So we don't prescribe how people should be using these tables or anything. We want to give the full freedom, because in Miro, you are the creator. And we want to make sure that we are able to take that aspect and put it back into whatever we do. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. A client comes in, and a very high profile, and we have all the screens in the world from all sizes and brands. And that person decided to say, no, I want a flip chart, a paper flip chart with crayons. And he refused to do anything else than that. So we had to send somebody to run, just get that thing and bring it over. So that was gave me an idea. And basically what this person was doing is like, he doesn't want to be prescribed. He's a user of Miro. He doesn't want to be prescribed on how he should communicate to us. So we did a very interesting experiment. So all these tables that you see here are actually whiteboards, because we haven't put that mindset behind. If you want to take notes, you are with a computer, you can actually write across all these tables. We are able to split them just when we do rooms in the platform, and we are able to mimic that on real life. These are battery operated. They are whiteboards. You can flip them up, put them as a desk, and actually you have an infinite canvas, a real infinite canvas. So every surface is a canvas. And this is a very, very simple, but super high impact. And that's kind of the experiments that we constantly run there. So normally people take pictures of the stickies, take pictures of that, and they feed it into the platform right away. So you create these ecosystems of very simple things that surround Miro as the main screen. Then these are just another type of space types that we see there, that we want to make sure that we give a lot of diversity, so people are encouraged to collaborate in many different ways. This is just a campfire setting with a very soft boundary, so other people are working around there, and it's more psychological than actually the whole physical thing. This is another snapshot where we see collaborative areas together with more like heads-down work, privacy booths. Another snapshot of how also in pantries, in our own pantries, we try to carve space to make sure that you have moments like this. That is not about getting a coffee or getting a soda and then you're out, but then making sure that we are intentional about creating those experiences. Also, this is we have a basement that has a bar from the 1920s. So we had to repair a lot of these things, but we brought out all new contemporary finishes and furniture just to make that distinction between Miro, which is a new thing, and the old part, which is our own canvas. In addition to that, we have also different types of space types that talk more about the well-being aspect, which really matters a lot to us. So we have a meditation room in one of the rooms, and can be used also as a multi-faith room. So some of our clients also require that for praying, and that can be used for that. But my last slides talk about another of one of our experiments. This space that you see here, we call it Botanical Library, was a boardroom. And in a boardroom, everybody knows that the access is selected. Only board members can use that along a very long, boring table most of the time. And what we did here is we flipped it. We created a public space inside the building, and this is in the heart of the building. And we gave access to everyone. So it's an immersive space, so you go in there, and even the temperature changes a little bit, and it gets fantastic light from the day. And it's truly a discovery. When you are looking into rooms and the number of rooms, then you find that hidden green space is it's one of our features in the office. So that's a view. It has double height space, so that's a view from the top. And just to end my presentation, I want to highlight the power and the importance of experimentation. Right now, like I said, Miro is not going to solve the hybrid dilemma or the hybrid riddle, right? But what we can do, the best we can do, is set ourselves in the best position to learn. That's why flexibility is a key for us, and also making sure that we're able to run pockets of experiments. Very little things, just like I showed you before, on the tables, sometimes it's with technology and with our partners, making sure that we are able to learn and to advance a little step further every single way. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.